All right, my friends, let's get a good quick shave done for Austere August today. Same gear as usual. The timeless stainless steel razor with the scalloped, sorry, open comb base plate and 68 gap. It'll be using the Nacet blade, which is at around 553 uses, will be today's use count. Declaration Grooming B13 knot, Briar Brushworks, and Dogwood Handcrafts hybrid handle, put together by Steven at Dogwood Handcrafts. The scent for all three products today, as usual in August here, Chisel Face Midnight Stag, and that's for the cologne as well as the aftershave splash. We are getting low. Yep, I can see it reducing each time, so I don't think this is going to last a month. But I do keep using more inadvertently. And I think my friend Ravi put in a comment recently that said, "Are you making too much lather?" And the answer is yes. I keep reducing the number of swirls to try to reduce the waste. But this particular soap base is one that kind of puffs up. It doesn't really stay very creamy. And so it generates more lather than some other soaps because of that. It stays kind of airy. I don't like that personally, but I love these scents so much that I still use, especially this Midnight Stag scent. I still use them regularly. But in terms of a creamy, dense type of soap, this is not, one of my preferred formulations. And but it doesn't take very much soap to give you what looks like a lot of lather. I may even try just 5 swirls here because I think I did 10 yesterday and I ended up with twice as much lather as I needed. I might even be able to get away with less than that. Let's try 3 swirls. I can always go back if I need to, right? Let's be crazy and try 3. Put the blade in the razor. Here's the Nacet with all of its identifying marks, like the bend down here in that corner and the etching that's in place there. As we get closer to well, I guess we've been in crazy high numbers for a while now. But we're right in the midpoint between 500 and 600 uses on this blade, which is pretty nuts. Get the brush not really wet. Usually I put it in my soak cup to kind of start over with the same reference point, but we're being kind of casual about it. So I'm going to give it a few shakes. Not really being as precise and predictable with measuring amounts like I often do. It's because I'm using the same stuff every day. And so I have that freedom sometimes. 3 swirls. 1, 2, 3. That's it. It's like, okay, wow. I think I saw a real reduction in the visible soap there. So, yeah, this tub is not going to last. It might not even last a week. I don't know. Oh, yeah, see, look at that. 3 swirls bubbling up right away. If I knew that this was plenty of soap that was loaded, I could start by putting water in it even now and it would start to come together. But since I don't know that for certain, I'm going to mix it up a little bit more and watch it before I start adding water. So I just put together a reference video. It was inspired by Ravi's other question about, is my brush drying between uses? He says that oh yeah, see, now that's starting to come together, so I'm going to go ahead and add some water. He says he lives in an area that has a wet season, and so his brush takes a while to dry, and probably not able to dry between uses each day, and that's normal. Even in air conditioning that I'm grateful to have where I am, this is a big 28 millimeter knot. And it is not getting completely dry between shaves, but I'm making sure to fully rinse it And because I'm getting a nice wet lather in there, it's kind of killing, I mean, it's going to prevent mold. This is, after all, soap. I'm not really worried about it for the month, even if at the core it never dries out. More related to that will be released with that brush care, brush drying reference video that will soon be posted. Oh yeah, look at that. 3 swirls. Well, if you leave a little bit of water in the bowl from the wet brush that you used the previous day, then that's just what's going to happen. It'll be so easy to pull soap up out of the tub there. I'm not going to work this quite as much as I might normally. It's moving around a little bit, so I think it's probably hydrated enough. Let's just go with it. I guess technically you could put, if you're looking at a ton of stuff in your lather bowl right there, everything's kind of clean. You haven't put it to your face yet. There's no stubble in there. If you knew you had a lot of excess, I guess if you were super conservative, you could put some of that back here, and then even if the water did evaporate or something, that soap residue would remain available for you for the next shave. But soap is just so cheap. When I use Sterling, one of those 5.8 ounce tubs that it has lasts me a whole year, 13 months, because I use such a wet lather that I get a lot out of it. And so it's just pennies that you're wasting. And so I don't think it's worth the germ bacteria, risks of trying to save that lather. All right, the razor's ready to go. Get my face wet. One of the benefits of a creamy lather, it's kind of got a luxury feel to it. It's not quite as airy as this kind of lather, is that it separates the brush bristles more, and you get an easier splay and a softer feel, and I like that myself. The motion I'm using here is often called buffing, where you're using shorter strokes and you're covering the same area a couple times before you move on. I like that for this old blade, but I also just like it in general. Sometimes buffing refers to a movement where you're actually keeping the razor on your skin as you go up and down, as you repeat the same area. I don't do that, but that is a part of buffing for some people. Not really worried about getting all of the hairs on the first pass. A little water. Not even doing full rinses at this point because it's good just to keep some of that slickness on your face. This lather, being a little on the airy side, also tends to flop around and drop down and mess up my shirt. So sometimes I'll purposely go grab an old shirt that was used maybe the day before because I know it's going to get all soapy. If you're ever shaving and you are taking down multiple days of growth and maybe you're feeling a little bit of tugginess, I will often change my strategy. Instead of these buffing motions that I'm doing, I will often do a little bit longer motions, and I won't cover the same place multiple times because that invites more tugginess. But I'll just do longer strokes a little bit, and it's intended just to be a light pass over everything instead of what you're seeing now. And I accidentally used that technique, and then I realized that it was made for a very fast first pass, but then my second was so much more comfortable than if I would have been more meticulous. And so I like that. By taking down a lot of the growth on that first pass, even if it's half as much or a third as much as it normally would, it rendered it a much more comfortable shave that wasn't tuggy for as long. And so try that if you routinely have to shave longer stubble. Third pass. Three swirls. I'm glad I didn't do 5. And I'm still going to end up with more lather passes than I need. Maybe I need to let the soap, I could let the soap dry a little bit more. Leave the top open. Help me not to pick up quite as much soap. At this point, since it's being a little wasteful, I might actually do that. I normally don't if I have a lot of soap left because I don't want to let that soap scent leave. I don't want it to be reduced. Most soaps are lower scented than I would like, and I want to keep that around. Most of that rinsing I did just there was my hands and arms. They had gotten just a bunch of suds on them. It was just a couple of splashes on my face. Fourth pass I think we're on now. Since this does kind of bubble up quickly, I think that makes people think that it's quick to make lather. And I guess that's technically true. And there are chemicals that you add to the soap when you're the maker of the soap to help it to jump up into a lather more quickly. And so obviously that's what's going on here. But the kind of lather that is being generated is not really one that is quite as luxurious as others. And so it may be quick to lather up, and it is serviceably slick. It's just not luxurious, and I prefer, even if it takes a little bit longer to lather up, I prefer the other kinds like Sterling, Barrister and Man, Summer Break. Seaforth. Who else can I name? Oh, Mammoth is really good. Zingari Man is good. Holy cow, you have to use more product. It's a great base, but I don't use it often because I have to use more product than usual. Master Soap Creations is another one that's a very good base. I like that one. What was that one that was in Texas? Can't remember. Oh, Hub City. I think that was. Maybe that was Hub City. That's a good base. I think some of his blends are pre-blends, so you don't want to pay a premium price for that. But he has a good base. I think we're just going to do a little neck touch up here. Yeah, so I'm done. 5 passes of lather, and I still have, from just 3 swirls of soap. Yes, Ravi, I do not need to be using this much lather. I need to, and usually I do figure it out before the month is over. Like when I was using, a few years ago, I used Martin de Condre, which I haven't used since then because I just didn't really like the type of lather that it put together. It's a very reputable soap, and it's actually an inexpensive soap if you use it like I do and make really wet lathers. It's really a budget soap, but it doesn't really, kind of like this one, deliver that luxury. If I kept it creamy, then it was too dry and it didn't give me the slickness that I wanted. But if I added more water to get the slickness that I wanted, then it wasn't creamy at all. Like this one, it got the job done, but I just prefer others, especially that upfront cost. But I mean, it does average out with low cost per shave unless you're just really wasteful with the soap. All right, I'm gonna get a good rinse. I'm gonna rinse out my lather bowl and the brush and the razor, and I'll be back. The splash. I had an idea. Tomorrow I think I'll try not using any methods that are going to kind of aerate the lather in a big way. So I don't think I'm going to use my lather bowl here with the ridges, and I may actually try to only use swiping motions, painting motions, instead of swirling motions, to see if maybe this particular soap base likes less agitation. Does it give me something with that, under those conditions, that it doesn't, with the agitation style? It's just something fun to try while you're using the same products all month, right? So that is the aftershave. Now let's use the Midnight Stag cologne. And that completes the 3 Midnight Stag aspects for this challenge where I use that scent. It's very polarizing. I think of Anchorman, the movie, and I think it's called Sex Panther or something, that cologne that is in that movie, and it kind of stuns people when he's walking through the room, and they make all kinds of funny comments about how bad it smells. The people's reaction to it, and not necessarily the descriptions of how bad they think it smells, but at least their reaction to it is kind of the same reaction I get from like my family members and things like that whenever I do use this soap and splash and stuff. I think with the cologne, if I were to able to use that, to display that to them, more so than the soap and the splash, it has some more intelligent and interesting nuances to it. parts of the flavor profile, the scent profile rather, jump out more. And I've talked about this the whole month, but they just hit me. They may enjoy it more if they were to smell the cologne rather than the other products, because of the kind of almost the roasty wood, burning wood type of warm aspects that are only in the cologne. That might help it to be a little more, a little less polarizing. There we have it, boys and girls. Thanks so much for watching. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Hope this helps you out in some way. Maybe it might. It's just the same stuff every day in August, right? And that's okay. Sometimes it's fun just to hang out with each other on a repetitive basis, even if it's not super quality. Although I try to bring different aspects to each shave to make it a little bit less monotonous. But for those of you who have enjoyed watching this Nacet blade, keep on trucking. We thank you so much for your support over the years, and I do mean years. It means a lot to me. Take care now. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.